Hello everyone, welcome to the Red Men TV. Play ratings, we thought we'd do this in the car because it's bitterly cold. Because look, ultimately it's a game where Liverpool's kids took on Aston Villa. There's not an over amount of analysis we're going to do, despite the fact that we will do a final word show tomorrow. Because you normally do play ratings, you wanted to take a different approach on this one.
Yeah, I didn't want to give play ratings for the kids. I don't think it does them any good. I mean, I hope they wouldn't watch it. I hope they do watch it actually, because you know, for me, listen, you'd be going out there and you'd be maybe giving marks that are way off and stuff like that, but it's more about the little things that he did. You talk about it quite often during pre-season, and it seems to be every pre-season, but we go, I just want to see a moment, I want to see something I can hang my hat on almost, and that's what I feel is better for us to do today, is look at what they did well and see, could we make use of them in the first team, or how far away from the first team are they, and maybe just more constructive criticism. So it's the non-player ratings, player ratings show today.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I think and you're dead right, I think every single lad who touched the field for Liverpool today will have, you know, we should be immensely proud of themselves, but also, you know, look, you can't, if you would do it as pure ratings, Liverpool got beat 5-0. Yeah. So they would have to be, you'd have to rank it at the same level, because the men's game of football, you'd have to rank it that, which means it would naturally have to be low numbers, but it's pointless. I think you look at let's look at Kelleher in goal, for example. It was a solid performance. I just felt, and it was true across the board, I thought Liverpool was so unlucky at times. I mean, look at what he has to deal with. He makes a couple of really good saves in the game. I think his distribution was good and what have you, and his composure. But what's he meant to do? You know, that second goal is just ridiculous.
Is that the one that went off the cross? It was a boys or something like that, and it loops in. It hits the post as well, and then it goes up into the net. And there's nothing he can do in answer to your question. The things there, he had a chance, he did really well. I think there was one goal where the lad was bearing down on him, and I thought maybe, if I'm being honest, he could have left his line a little bit earlier. I watched it back, you know, a couple of times, and he was probably, I think he was backpedaling at the time, so that's me probably going, judging him against Alisson, who is probably the best goalkeeper in the world, and probably the best goalkeeper at one-on-ones as well. But as you say, his distribution was really good. He made some really strong saves with one hand, with two hands. He came and collected the ball, he punched the ball in the area, and he ran out and guarded the edge of his area as well, and kicked the ball really high into the stands at one point. So for me, that's a good, solid performance. And there's a lad who I think is probably ready for, I don't know, you know, maybe to be a backup in the Premier League or something, or certainly is it a Championship loan, because that's what it feels like he needs to do now, because I can't imagine Adrian going anywhere next season, and Alisson's certainly not going anywhere. So how does he improve?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe he's my only slight critique of him is that, and he made one really good save with his feet, but he seems to try to save stuff a lot with his feet, and
some of the best goalkeepers in the world. De Gea does. That's what De Gea's been doing for 5, 6, 7 years now, isn't it? So some goalkeepers do it. I think I can understand why. You know, I was an outfield player. I tend to go at things with my feet because that's the way that I've played, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't understand the psyche as a goalkeeper, but for me, it seems like it's easier to stick a leg out than get down there. Yeah. So he always used to say, put it low, because big goalkeepers can't get down.
No, but it was one of those things, wasn't it? Like, Bruce Grobbelaar was talking to us about this, about how goalkeepers don't keep your hands down low, there's no point. Your legs will do that job. Your hands should be up here to cover this. So yeah, it was interesting. But it was one thing I noted his performance. Keanu Hoover, obviously goes off. Yeah, he goes off with cramp in both legs by the looks of it, which is a real shame, because he was one of them for me in that whole performance. There's talk that a few lads are just going to get straight on a plane to Doha. I'd have him on the plane straight away. I think he's absolutely magnificent.
You can see something there, and Jack was saying he thought the boys would go inside to be the centre back, and Hoover was right, and I was a little surprised at that. You know, I thought Hoover would play centre-back. I didn't know anything about boys before tonight. But I can understand why. I think him and Elliott down that right-hand side in tandem were really good. He's got the pace, he's got strength as well. Yeah. You know, most of the lads there for me today, Paul, weren't strong enough and weren't fast enough. Yeah. Whereas Hoover was probably one of the lads we look at and go, actually, he's got both. He's able to do that, and he reads the game really well as well, and he's calm, you know, and
you know what he
took
does?
The piss in the 6-yard box at one point.
Well, this is the moment I want to talk about. Him and Elliott, they keep going. They don't stop when they've completed an action. So they'll play their way out of trouble, and they'll get rid. And most young players would go, oh dear God, I got rid. they're ready for the return pass, and because the ball comes straight back to him, he's only moved on like a yard from the danger he's just escaped, and then he's playing another pass on, and that's the difference, I think, and that's where you can tell what a player he is, and the way those two linked up down the right hand side. The
first half,
first half especially, like, you know, slightly less so in the second. But I think when I was looking at this game and I talked to you and I said, imagine if we just had Curtis Jones in that side. It actually would have made the side a bit better. But with no senior players whatsoever, I thought those two lads looked like senior players.
Yeah, they really did. And if there was anything going to come from this game for Liverpool, it was going to be down that right-hand side, and those two were going to be heavily involved in it. I mean, the centre-backs, you know, Sepp Vandenberg, I think he moved from left centre-back to right centre-back at the start of the second half and stuff. I wasn't sure what to expect with him because a lot of people have told me he's not been very good in the unders. I thought he was okay. I didn't think he did anything wrong.
He got unlucky. I think it was their third or fourth where he just puts a toe in and he wins the ball, but it breaks for another one of their lads and they break through. And it was the story of the game all told for us, is that at that level, when you they're the fine margins that cost you. And so there might be people who are critical of his performance. I thought he handled things really. Once or twice people got past.
The difficulty he had was
playing men attackers.
The difficulty he had, and lots of these players had for me tonight, it was that, you know, when the ball was getting hoofed up, the centre forward was winning it. Yeah. He was strong, and it's not always that he's maybe not as strong as the centre forward in Sepp and boys. You can't get round them because they're bigger guys, and it's interesting, isn't it? Because we're not used to seeing players who are significantly weaker or slower maybe or anything like that, but the size thing made a real difference today.
Yeah, Gallagher, I mean, I didn't see a great deal of him in the first half, pardon me, because he's over the far side.
Boys first, we go centre back.
By all means, I thought we covered Boys, but yeah, go for it.
Yeah, Boys was good. I was really impressed with him. I actually thought he was better than Vandenberg, because he's number 57, is he? Or 77? Might be 77, but he was really good. I liked him, and he seemed composed. I didn't know anything about him, so I wasn't sure what to expect from him. But yeah, I thought he did maybe even a touch better than Sepp Vandenberg. Really calm, and I think he had a tougher job because second half, I know they didn't attack as much, but he's with Gallagher, and that was a significantly weaker side of the defence.
Yeah, I agree on that. And again, I couldn't tell you too much about this stuff about Gallagher's performance. I thought he was fine. You know, I think the defence was just fine, absolutely fine, which is mad to say in a game where they've conceded 5 goals, but they nothing. They
played probably a little bit too high a line.
Okay.
I mean, the ball over the top was really, really easy for Aston Villa, and you know they had the pace to get in behind as well. They had the strength to hold it up if they were going to do that, and I think we just struggled a little bit at times with just a bit of maturity and a bit of experience where I thought we handled coming out second half after going in 4-0 down. I thought we did really well. We just took the ball off them for a bit. First 5 minutes of that second half, and the back four got themselves together, started knocking it back around a little bit. Harry Kane dropped a little bit deeper. It wasn't just Pedro Chiavea dropping into that 6. Felt like the two of them were dropping deep together, maybe shielding them a little bit better. But Gallagher, yeah, not as attacking as Hoover, but certainly not ripped.
No, absolutely. The midfield too, I thought, they end up anchoring. I think it was a 4-3-3 to start, but it ends up being Harry Kane and Chiavea, and then Isaac Davies pushes on, and then when we came off, it ended up being a more of a 10. But I thought you could tell they were the 2 oldest lads, or the most experienced lads in the team in some regards. I thought Chiavea, I don't think he's ever had a bad game for Liverpool in the limited opportunities he's had. He looks, pardon me, smart, composed. He was G-ing the players up, telling them where to be, etc, etc. He should have a decent career somewhere, and Harry Kane exactly the same. I think you can see where the ceiling of those players is, but I can see quite easily them having a decent career in the Football League.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, I think both players started pretty poorly. Pedro Chiavea especially, you know, probably two of his first 3 passes are really poor, and I wondered whether his header drop, and it didn't, and that tells me more about a player than just a player who just had a bad game. You know, the fact that he's able to pick himself up, as you say, to G those lads up and really just take the game not by the scruff of the neck, but take the pressure off everybody else on the field. And there's one thing that, you know, he's not great at pinging a 70-yard ball out, but he'll give it a go. He'll maybe attempt a 40-yarder. But what he did do, and what his teammates, I think, and why it's a captain's performance from Carabao, is because he was always there, and he's always pointing at his feet, I want the ball. If you're in trouble, just give me the ball. And this is from a lad who probably hasn't had the absolute best game, but still just being there for his teammates, they'll respect that. Yeah. And Herbie Kane, I thought, grew into the game. He has one chance where he nearly scores a little bit later on and stuff. Now, a little bit sluggish, I can't see him as a centre midfielder in the Premier League, but there's enough there for me to say, you know what, okay, little football.
He played the role really well. Both of them did. I think Carabao is probably slightly technically more gifted, but Herbie Kane, look, for a lad, he's probably been told that, you know, either maybe you've got a future at Liverpool, I don't know. He didn't look it to me, but he also did look like a lad who, if you told me he was going to get a good career out of League One or maybe Championship, I don't know. He played the role really well. He was supporting everyone. He was his work rate, his endeavour, supporting everything that happened on the pitch. He was left, he was right, he was cropping up on the edge of the box, in the box. Yeah, I thought it was a good solid performance from him. Isaac Christie-Davies faded really. I thought he started brightly. He was another one in the midfield. He was neat and tidy. He was going to the right. He was linking. He was getting to the edge of the box. A lot of the exciting stuff early in the game he was involved in. But he did second half. And he faded off.
He did. He seemed to play with the exuberance of youth. Yeah. You know, there's a couple of really bad tackles.
I wonder if we could do like youth bingo in this show. How many of the expressions we can get into there? Yeah, the exuberance. Good one. Very good one.
But no, he did, and he was throwing his body on the line, and he looked like he was fighting for a shirt there, didn't he? And he really wanted to prove a point, maybe to Critchley, you know, Klopp and the lads will be watching and everything else, and they'll be able to analyse this game, I'm sure, a lot better than probably a lot of the under-23s and under-18s games, because they'll have the cameras, they'll have all the staff there maybe to be able to do this.
And so, it's against opponents of a
exactly. So he wanted to put himself about, and I'm not sure whether he tired or what, but second half he didn't look the same player. Maybe he was playing on a yellow card. I'm not sure.
Well, he did. He could have come out with a red, to be fair. He was slightly over exuberant of youth. Harvey Elliott, then we talked about him before. Just brilliant. I mean, particularly in the first half. We get a corner in the first couple of minutes and he's G'ing the fans up and stuff like that.
I love him. Like, you can't draw conclusions from a game like this, but he's world class.
100%. Yeah, he's top quality. He's another one. He's 16. He might even be 17, but he's a kid. He's ready as far as I'm concerned. I think it's clever to protect him. It's clever to get him fully integrated into the squad and all that kind of stuff. And there's other lads ahead of him in the pack. We've got a lot of senior lads who still need football for us. But I wouldn't be shocked to see him getting Premier League games by the end of the season.
Yeah, that's it. Like, you know, you probably got all of April and May where you can play him.
Yeah, when things are easier potentially. Yeah, I thought he was great.
But look. He plays with no fear, and that's it. He doesn't think to himself, I won't try this because I'm playing against... No, he just tries it because that's what he does, and there's a little bit of genius there that it doesn't matter what level he's playing at, he's going to do what he does.
His ability to pick a pass out from around the 18-yard box 2 or 3 times out of nowhere with the box crowded, he managed to find a head or a chest or whatever.
Space and time, you know, by stopping.
Yeah.
And then it just all opens up and he sees it. It's crazy. He's such an intelligent player. Like
he was brilliant.
Hill and Longstaff are the 2 to go, aren't they?
Hill, I thought I didn't see too.
When we were attacking, he was the other side of the pitch. Unfortunately,
second half, he was one of them where I got the impression from him like that you could see how much the whole thing meant to him, and he just kept going and kept going and kept going. And look, you talked about it. Pace and power are a big issue. You know, but he's throwing his body at people. He's trying to make things happen, and just didn't quite get the breaks in the second half. But I loved his endeavour. I loved the fact that he just had this look of this lad going, "This is my big chance. I'm not going to walk off this pitch and have anyone say you left something out there." I thought he ran absolutely tirelessly, and he was actually, I think, a bit more dangerous second half probably than he was first. I think he got a bit more involved, and that might be just because Elliott maybe slowed off a bit, and then we used the other flank a touch more. So fine.
Longstaff for me he was sound. I really liked him. I thought there's a lad there who maybe understands how to press and how to harry the goalkeeper and the centre halves and stuff. From a defensive point, I think he was a really good decision to play him in that position with Elliott and Hill off him. From an offensive point of view, he struggled. I mean, he's a young lad going against 2 centre halves, that's like fucking lambs to the slaughter shit, isn't it? Just really difficult
but
for him, but he didn't stop.
That first spell when we were on top, we were swarming and we were causing them problems and we were pressing and making them make mistakes. I thought he shone in that environment when it's just a little touches around the corner. He had men around supporting him, but it became he had to toil in the second half because Liverpool stopped committing men, and that's because ultimately they've gone no more. Just don't concede any more goals. Don't make this an embarrassment. And all of a sudden, you're pumping long balls up to him. In the first half, that works when you're getting little nicks and it's dropping. When there's no one to support, you just look isolated and lost. And of course, again, that's when the physicality and strength and endurance that you've got with a bit more age started to take its toll. But I thought he handled himself brilliantly.
It's also, for me, it's when you're a defender and you're going up against players that you have no idea how they play, like, because they wouldn't have had much of an idea, these Aston Villa players. You've got to stand off a little touch to begin with. You need to find out how fast they are. Are you as quick as them? What are they going to try and do? As soon as they realised that they probably weren't going to get in behind, they didn't have the pace to be able to do that, they pressed up against him, and then they made it really tough for him.
Yeah, but again, him and I think everyone, I think the subs you got, is it Burns, Norris and Clarkson, I think, with the three substitutes. Well, Burns actually looked really bright when he came on.
Well done, you!
Burns looked really bright, and obviously...
He burned bright, did he?
He burned brightly. Oh my God, we've done so well. We've done so well. We will be at this rate. But yeah, look, more to see from them. If you want to get more on these young lads, where their development goes in the future, you were going to put your nose there.
I was.
It was so close to the end. If you want more to find out more about these players, then head over to the Redmen Academy YouTube channel and that Redmen Academy on Twitter as well. Jack Gill is going to be giving you everything you need on that throughout the rest of the season. But yeah, other than that, Chris, thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching. Yeah, we hope that's been a satisfactory video conclusion on the games for you. Some really exciting talent. I want to see a little bit more of them. I hope a couple of these lads do get a chance in the first team, and hopefully we'll see that later on this season. But yeah, Qatar looms now for the men. Let's hope they can deliver slightly better performances in the games this week.